Hello everyone, my name is Arvin and here's my group mate. And let me tell you a story is all about Snowdrop. So let's begin. Snowdrop by Grimm's Fairy Tale. It was the middle of winter when the broad flakes of snow were falling around that the queen of a country many thousand miles off sat working at her window. The frame of the window was made of fine black ebony, and as she sat looking on upon the snow, she flicked her finger, and teardrops of blood fell upon it. Then she gazed thoughtfully upon the red drops that sprinkled the white snow, and said, "Would that my little daughter may be as white as the snow, as red as that blood, and as black as this ebony window frame." And so the little girl really did grow up. Her skin was a white snow, her cheeks as rosy as the blood, and her hair as black as ebony, and she was called Snowdrop. But this queen died, and the king soon married another wife, who became queen, and was very beautiful, but so vain that she could not dare to think that anyone could be handsome than she was. She had a fairy looking glass, to which she used to go, and then she would gaze upon herself in it, and say, "Tell me, glass, tell me true, of all the ladies in the land, who is fairest, tell me who." And the glass always answered,
Thou queen art the fairest in all the land, but Snowdrop grew more and more beautiful, and when she was 7 years old, she was as bright as the day, and fairer than the queen herself.
Then the glass one day answered the queen. When she went to look at it as usual,
So queen art fair, and beauteous to see, but Snowdrop is lovelier far than free.
when she heard this, she turned pale with rage and envy, and called to one of her servants, and said, "Take Snowdrop away to the wide wood, that I may never see her any more." Then the servant led her away, but his heart melted when Snowdrop begged him to spare her life, and said,
I will not hurt you, thou pretty child.
so he left her by herself, and he thought it most likely that the wild beasts would tear her in pieces. He felt as if a great weight were taken off his heart when he had made up his mind not to kill her but to leave her to her fate, with the chance of someone finding and saving her. Then poor Snowdrop wandered along through wood in great fear, and the wild beasts roared about her, but not did her any harm. In the evening she came to a cottage among the hills, and went into the rest, for her little feet would carry her not further. Everything was spruce and near in the cottage. On the table was spread a white cloth, and there were 7 little plates, 7 little loaves, and 7 little glasses with wine in them, and 7 knives and fork lids in order. And by the wall stood 7 little beds. As she was very hungry, she picked a little piece of each loaf and drank a very little wine out of each glass. And after that she thought she would lie down and rest. So she tried all the little beds, but one was too long, and another was too short, till at last the 7 suited her. And there she laid herself down and went to sleep. By and by came the masters of the cottage. Now they were 7 little dwarfs that lived among the mountains, and dug and searched for gold. They lighted up their 7 lamps, and saw at once that all was not right. The first said,
Who has been sitting on my stool?
the second,
Who has been eating off my plate?
the third,
Who has been taking my bread?
the fourth,
Who has been mating with my spoon?
the fifth,
Who has been handling my fork?
the sixth, who was
Who has been cutting with my knife?
the seventh.
Who has been drinking my wine?
Then the first looked around and said,
Who has been lying on my bed?
and the rest came running to him, and everyone cried out that somebody had up upon his bed. But the 7 saw Snowdrop, and called all his brethren to come and see her. And they cried out with wonder and astonishment, and brought their lamps to look at her, and said,
Good heavens, what a lovely child she is!
and they were glad to see her, and took care not to wake her. And the 7 dwarfs slept an hour with each of the other dwarfs in turn, till the night was gone. In the morning, Snowdrop told them all her story, and they pitied her, and said if she would keep all things in order, and cook, wash, and knit, and spin for them, she might stay where she was, and they would take good care of her. Then they went all the day long to their work, seeking for gold and silver in the mountains. But Snowdrop was left at home, and they warned her and said,
The queen will soon find out where you are.
"So take her and let no one in." But the queen, now that she thought Snowdrop was dead, believed that she must be the handsome lady in the land, worked so nimbly, and pulled the lace so tight, that where Snowdrop breath was stopped, and then she fell down as if she were dead. "There's an end to all thy beauty," said the spiteful queen, and went away home. In the evening, the seven dwarfs came home, and I need not to say how grieved they were to see their faithful Snowdrop stretched out upon the ground, as if she was quite dead. However, they lifted her up, and when they found what ailed her, they cut the lace, and in a little time she began to breathe, and very soon came to life again. Then they said, "The old woman was the queen herself. Take her another time, and let no one in when we are away." When the queen got home, she went straight to her glass and spoke it as before. But to her great grief it still said, "So, queen, art the fairest in all this land, but over the hills, in the greenwood shade, where the seven dwarfs their dwelling have made, their snowdrop is hiding her his head, and she is lovelier far, O queen, than tree." Then the blood ran cold in her heart, with spite and malice to see that Snowdrop still alive, and she dressed herself again, but in quite another she wore before, and took with her a poison come. When she reached the dwarf's cottage, she knocked at the door, and cried, "Fine wares to sell," but Snowdrop said, "I dare not let anyone in." Then the queen said, "Only look at my beautiful combs," and gave her the poisoned one, and took so pretty that she took it up and put into her hair to try it. But the moment it touched her head, the poison was so powerful that she fell down senseless. "There you may lie," said the queen, and went her away. But by good luck the dwarfs came in every early that evening, and when they saw Snowdrop lying on the ground, they thought what happened, and soon found the poison come. And when they took it away, she got well, and told them all that had passed. And they warned her once more not to open the door to anyone. Meantime the queen went home to her glass, and she shook with rage when she read the very same answer as before, and she said, "Snowdrop shall die, if it costs me my life." So she went by herself into her chamber, and got ready poison apple. The outside looked very rosy and tempting, but whoever tasted it was sure to die. Then she dressed herself up a peasant wife, and traveled over the hills to the dwarf's cottage, and knocked at the door. But Snowdrop put her head out of the window and said, "I dare not let anyone in, for the dwarfs have told me not." "Do as you please," said the old woman. "But any who takes this pretty apple, I will give it to you." "No," said Snowdrop, "I dare not take it." "You silly girl," answered the other, "what are you afraid of? Do you think it poison? Come, do you eat one part, and I will eat the other." Now the apple was so made up that one side good, though the other side was poison. Then Snowdrop was much tempted to taste, for the apple looked so very nice, and when she saw the other woman eat, she could wait no longer. But she said, scarcely put the piece out into her mouth, when she fell down dead upon the ground. "This time nothing will save Prit," said the queen, and she went home to her glass, and last it said, "Thou, queen, art the fairest of all the fair." And then her weak heart was glad and as happy such a heart could be. When evening came, and the dwarfs had gone home, they found Snowdrop lying on the ground. No breath came from her lips, and they were afraid that she was quite dead. They lifted her up, and combed her hair, and washed her face with wine and water, but all was in vain, for the little girl seemed quite dead. So they laid her down upon a bier, and all seven watched and bewailed for her bewailed 2 days. And they thought they would bury her, but her cheeks were still rosy, and her face looked just as did while she was alive. So they said, "We will never bury her in the cold ground." And they made a coffin glass, so that they might still look at her, and wrote upon it in golden letters what her name was, and that she was king's daughter. And the coffin was set among hills, and one the dwarfs sat by in any watch, and the bird of the air came too, and Vermont Snowdrop. And first of all came an owl, and then a raven, and at last a dove, and sat by her side. And thus Snowdrop lay for a long, long time, and still only looked as though she was asleep, for she was even now as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as ebony. At last Prince came and called at the dwarf's in-house, and he saw Snowdrop, and read what was written in golden letters. Then he offered the dwarfs money, and they said, "We will not part with her for all the gold in the world." At last, however, they had pity on him and gave him the coffin, but the moment he lifted it up to carry it home with him, the piece of apple fell from between her lips. And Snowdrop awoke and said, "Where am I?" And the prince said, "Thou art quite safe with me." Then he told her all that happened and said, "I love you far better than all the world. So come with me to my father's palace, and you shall be my wife." And Snowdrop consented and went home with the prince. And everything was got ready with great pomp and splendor for their wedding. To the feast was asked, among the rest, Snowdrop old enemy the queen, and as she was dressing herself in fine rich clothes, she looked in the glass and said, "Tell me thus, tell me true, of all the ladies in the land, who is fairest, tell me who." And the glass answered,
"No, lady, Aunt Lovelia is here. I win but Lovelia first, then you made queen."
when she heard this, started with rage, but her envy and curiosity were so great that she could not help setting out to see the bride. And when she got there and saw that it was no other Snowdrop, who as she thought had been dead a long while, she choked with rage and fell down and died. But Snowdrop and the prince lived and reigned happily over the land many, many years, and sometimes they went up into the mountains and paid a visit to the little dwarfs who had been so kind to Snowdrop in her time of need. So, this is the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening, guys. Goodbye.